Picking up where we left off, this is part 2 of the maze assignment video. If I look at my ball, you see that I have all these curves. There's movement on the translate X and the translate Z, but the others have no spatial movement. You notice that? You look at the left side column, it's not going up and down, not changing any value. It's moving over time, but not in space. So the ones that don't have space, I'm going to kill. I'm going to draw a box around them with my left mouse button and delete. Left mouse button, delete. Get rid of all the curves that you don't need. There's a reason for this. You need to keep your workspace clean, because when you start editing and you have unnecessary curves, you could accidentally edit a curve or a keyframe and change your whole animation and not know what you did. When you do that, look here. You're going to find that there's only salmon color in the two curves that have animation on them, which is translate Z, look at that, and translate X. That's good. Now we just have the two curves. Now look at all the points that reside on these curves. Those extra points helped us to create the shape of those curves and the fact that the ball doesn't hit any of the walls. We can adjust this one just a little bit. Pull that away from the wall. Now, since I already killed all those extra curves, if I set a keyframe right now, I'm going to recreate all those curves. I don't want to do that. So when I do edits from now on in, I'm just going to go right click, key selected, key selected. Look at that, and it just puts that keyframe there. Okay, so now I have it cleanly going through here. The next step I want you to do is clean up and edit this curve. The way you do that is to look for repetitive information on here. Repetitive information is this goes from here to here, but it goes through that. If I delete that, that curve's pretty much going to stay that same shape. So I'm going to highlight this area and then go View, Frame Selection, and I'm going to look at this a little more closely. I want to delete any keyframes I don't use, because look at that. When I add that keyframe there, it changes the shape of the line a little bit. It may not need that. So look what happens when I delete it. It jumps up a little bit, but if I go and I select these two, I can now edit this graph so that it moves through that point in space even without that keyframe being there. The way I do that is I select my keyframes and memorize this process, because this is important. I go right click, I go break tangents. Alright, and look how it turns blue and pink. Then I go weight the tangents, and look at the little balls that get at the end. And then I go free tangent weight, and look at those balls turn into squares. I can now take one of these ends, and remember this move button has to be selected, and I can select one of these ends with a left mouse button drawing a square around it, and I middle mouse button, I can pull it and push it any way I want. So I'm going to place it right about here, that's where it was earlier, and make sure that at this point it's not running through any walls. Look at that, I was able to get rid of a keyframe. View, frame all. Now I'm going to go in here and I'm going to look for any repetitive areas. Look, I look here and I see, whoa, they're all going the same way here. I'm definitely going to kill this one. So I select it and I press delete on the keyboard. Let's see, do I still not hit any walls? I'm still good. And I look at the translate. Well, look at that. I can probably kill both of those and delete them. Let's see, do I still get around the wall? I do. Now that one there, it's definitely on the curve. I can delete it. I can delete it. Look, there was no change to the curve. And as I go through, I'm okay. So I'm going to look between these two and just get rid of repetitive information. That can be repetitive, but look, that changed the curve a lot. So let's see what happened. I'm still okay. I don't touch a wall. This is a fun game that you play, getting rid of the extra curves. And look at that. I don't hit a wall, so I'm okay. So I go around and play with finding ones you don't need and get rid of them. Just practice deleting keyframes but keeping the motion you need. That's on the curve, I don't need it. That's on the curve, I don't need it. Look, I still get around the wall. I'm kind of touching it there, so let's see what's going on in the Z. I probably want to pull that in a little bit on the Z. And then I'm going to go to the Z, and I'm going to right-click, key selected. Look at the X. And try to look at, if it's going left to right, it's the X. If it's going up and down, it's the Z. So go through here. That helps change the degree, so I'm going to kill this one because that is on the curve. I'm okay left to right there. Let's see, up and down. Up and down. I can probably, up and down, I can probably kill this. Still get through. This stuff's kind of fun. Kill this. That'll change this curve, but I think I'll still be okay. Up and down. No, I liked it. Edit, undo, and I'll get back my key. Maybe I'll kill this one instead. Yeah, that one's better. See, up and down, I didn't need anything there. It's changing direction a little bit. Left, right. Let's look at the X. Okay, there's nothing I can, there's probably this one I can kill. Let's see what happened. Yep. Kill that. Definitely kill this one. See that? Left, right. Changing direction. Going down, up. Probably kill that one. Right, and kill that one. Now, this is more of an exercise of you understanding what all these keys do than doing this, perfect. I'm having you delete these keys so that you understand that one of the curves is taking you up and down, which is the translate Z. If you look here, up and down, and the X is going left and right. And by killing some of these, you're cleaning it up, not changing the directions too much. This is the up and down. I'm going to delete that one. See that? It's still clean. So what I did is I set my major keyframes, then my key points of turning, then I helped sculpt my curve with the secondary keyframes. Then I went through and I cleaned everything up. I got rid of everything extra because when I go to the top sphere, I now see where my keyframes are and there are less of them, which means if I go in and edit these keyframes, which we'll do next week, then I'm not going to cause any damage to other keyframes. I only have the necessary ones I need. So now you know everything you need to know to do the next 5 seconds. So you need to extend your workspace. You can also make it go from 120 to 240 so you only have the workspace you need for the last part of the program. It may be helpful to have the whole workspace so you can see all your ticks. And then repeat what I did up here, just down here. It's I think the exact same maze, only in a different pattern. And first, at frame 120, you've already got that keyframe, so you go to 240, and you set that keyframe. Then you set the 7 turnaround points, and then you sculpt your curve to go around those points. You get rid of any extra curves, you get rid of any extra keyframes, and you just make sure the whole thing just lasts 10 seconds. Remember, every 15 minutes you should be saving your file. The final one that you're done with should be animation done for the whole 10 seconds, and you submit that final MB file to me in the discussion group. And I'll look at your work and I'll just make sure what I'm going to grade you on is that I want you to have deleted all your extra curves, and I want you to delete as many extra points as you can. You don't have to practice too much of this yet, but if you want to do this where you edit the curve how it moves, you can go right click, you can break your tangents, weight your tangents, then you free your tangent weight, and go ahead and play with this. We'll do more of this next week, but if you want to delete even more keyframes, you can do that and try to sculpt out where it was as many times as you can doing this. Just alert me if you've done that and I'll check your work. That's advanced, and that'd be wonderful if you can get to that point. All right, go forth and conquer.